Hello everyone and welcome to this long overdue August update. In this update we will go through scenery work that's been done on the TMD area just to add some finishing touches, the start of the station area and change of track plan and some new additions to the layout. So looking at the TMD area, not really much has changed, and that's purely because I've got to the stage now that I'm happy with how it is, and I'd rather just spend money on the other side of the layout and get the station area underway, and then I can come back and do some smaller details in this area at a later date. But the main change is I have finally added the third rail. Now if I zoom in a little bit closer you can see, obviously it's not been weathered yet, it's not actually fit down properly, but yeah, I've been adding the third rail to this area. It is a very long and tedious process. I've done the two main running lines and I've done the loop over there. I just need to do this back track, and then it's pretty much done for this area. Like I said, it's very, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I think I'm going to start a new series of where I show you guys how I ballast my track and stuff like that, and I'm also going to add in like detailing track and weathering and third rail and stuff like that. And you'll see that it's not difficult to do at all, but it's just really time consuming. Because you have to drill the holes and you have to put all the little, the connectors onto the rails and stuff like that, and it's just very time consuming, but the effect of it afterwards, it's completely worth it, and the layout is now in the third rail part of the company, in the third rail part of the country, which is where I'm basing it on. So over this side, again, nothing really has changed too much. Someone's parked a Wallwell wagon in the car park, but this is the Premier Inn that I was working on ages ago. I still haven't done anything else to it, but I've changed this layout kind of a little bit. I haven't taken up anything that was there, I've just moved some buildings. Basically I've got rid of one of the industrial units, which was here. That's now going to become a Premier Inn, and the kind of workman's yard area here, that's moved from the right side over to the left side of the road. The reason being is purely because I wanted some industrial units over the other side by the station area, as you'll see in a minute, and it just worked out well that you see Premier Inns in industrial estates or near buildings and stuff just dotted in random places, so it doesn't really look out of place at all. Okay, so over this side of the layout, this is the station area, and as you can see straight away, the platforms have been extended. These were used from the old platforms that were over the other side of the layout where the TMD is now situated, and obviously these weren't long enough, so I've had to add a bit more MDF, and I've just filled in the gaps and stuff like that. What I'm going to do is, have different shades of light, greys and blacks and stuff, and put little blemishes and maybe like drains and stuff, to really give it a more realistic look. I'm going to start experimenting with that soon, because obviously if it goes wrong on paint you can just paint over it. It's no too big a deal. The far platform actually needs a little bit of adjusting because the trains hit it as they go past, so that one isn't stuck down, but rather than carry on the Pico platform edging, I decided to add some basic just plasticard with some brick on it. You see this in a lot of platforms and stuff like that, where platforms have been extended or adjusted, and more modern ways have been invented to kind of keep the platforms up in the air at the right level. So that's what I've gone for now there, and that will be the same over there to give the effect that that's the old part of the station and this has kind of been renewed in a sense. Now for the big change. This is, well, I literally couldn't make my mind up what I wanted to do here. Obviously I've still stuck with the same 4-track station with this right hand side being a dead end. That has all stayed the same, but previously my sidings kind of come along here and then curved off there, and I just wasn't happy with it. I really wasn't happy with it. So what I decided to do, and I saw on RM Webs, a guy, he's got a model railway called Old Oak Road. It's going to be an exhibition layout. It looks fantastic and the detail is ridiculously good. So I suggest you go and check that out if you ever want to see a well-detailed layout in progress. Yeah, so anyway, I used this idea of having a ballast sidings next to, you know, next to the station area. So it simply just runs up the edge, by the edge of the platform, and then splits into a simple loop with a dead end up the top there. But what I will do, where the hill ends there, I'm going to put a bridge to make it seem like it then carries on down into like a quarry or something like that, or the siding just carries on through, you know, in further on. But I've actually started doing some scenery over it. Yes, scenery has finally started in the station area. As you can see, I've moved the industrial building over here. It will be security fenced roughly here, or I might do it the other side depending on how I feel, to be honest, and then it will obviously go across the track and then, you know, run along or whatever. I'm yet to decide on all of that, but I've just started, you know, gravelling the track. Got a few wagons in there. I can fit 6 wagons in there. I can easily then just shunt them all about to whatever I need. It just adds a little bit of difference, you know, to give you something else to look at while trains are just travelling through the station. So as I was saying, I have started on obviously the bank. The security fence is basically going to be like a path. It's not actually painted yet. I was experimenting with a little green colour there, but I've painted behind it a grey colour to give the impression of a path, obviously. And then I'm going to be adding, you know, scatter grass and bushes and stuff all the way down here. But what I do want it to do is I want it to look overgrown. Not so much this bit here, but this bit over here, I really do want it to look overgrown. Obviously I need to get some trees and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to go for the overgrown look to make it look like, you know, it's not been looked after very well, because they want to keep it nice and secure and stuff like that. I've moved the office block from the TMD over to here. It fits so much better. In the TMD it just blocks off a lot of the area, you know, but in this space it's at the back of the scene, so it doesn't actually block anything other than the embankment. I've tried different techniques with doing the shrubbery and bushes and stuff like that. Now originally I just used basic like underbush and stuff and fine turf from Wooden Scenics, but now instead what I've done is obviously I've used like the fine turf to scatter across, and I've obviously painted the polystyrene and everything brown first, then I used the fine turf. This is like a blended fine turf of different greens and browns and stuff, and it looks pretty much more realistic than the pots of plain green that you can get. And then I've used polyfiber. Now polyfiber is just basically this kind of weird, if I just reach over, kind of like this weird like hair. It almost looks like hair, but it's kind of, you know, it's weirdly clumped together, and you can stretch it and mold it to different, you know, areas and shapes that you want, and it kind of gives this effect of just like it looks more like a bush. If we compare to this bush over here, which is just the basic, you know, underbush from Wooden Scenics, it looks very clumpy. It looks very, to me, it doesn't look very realistic. Whereas this looks more wiry. It looks, yeah, it looks like an actual overgrown like bush. And then basically all I've put on top is these leaves from Notch. Is it Notch or Knock? I think it's Knock. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I sprinkled these over the top. Again, I've used 3 different shades because obviously you don't get the same colour bush all the time. So I've just done that to add a little bit of variation in there, and it's gradually coming along nicely. But that will again extend all the way along there, and rather than buy the Woodland Scenics trees, I'm actually gonna buy some sea foam. I'm gonna scrape it all off, and then I'm gonna use this again and put some leaves over the top. I've found a way to do it. It's quite difficult to explain. Once I get around to doing it, I'll show you guys, or I'm sure there's some tutorials on YouTube or something like that that other people can look up and explain it a lot better than I can. because I'm not very good at explaining things. The final detail is the little crossing here. It's basically, I saw this whole area is roughly based on Watley Quarry. I'll put a picture up now of what I've been kind of referencing it off of. And I saw this where they've actually just built up a load of gravel and made it into like a crossing. So with the road being at the back, I needed a way to get into this area here. And rather than build like a, you know, like a wooden foot crossing or something like that, I thought I'd just pile the gravel up. The trains run over it fine. I've levelled it all out and stuff like that. Finally, we come to the new releases. Obviously, a much anticipated release from Bachmann was the Colas Rail Class 70. Fantastic loco, it really is. I was a really big fan of the original Class 70. I thought that was really good. The only thing I will say about this is the body is really difficult to get on and off. It took me a good 20 to 25 minutes to actually fit a chip into this. So, you know, just a tip to Bachmann, if they could make the shells a little bit easier in the future to get off, that would be great. But apart from that, can't fault it. I haven't really had a chance to run it yet because I've been focusing on scenery and stuff like that. But I'll get the track cleaned and get everything up and running very soon. Also, I'm slowly getting a full rake of Pullmans. I've been getting these off eBay. I've actually got some quite good bargains for them. Usually they're going for about £30 to £35, but I actually got a couple of these for around 20 to 25, so you know, I can't really complain with that. I think I'm going to get 2 more and then a support coach, and then I can obviously put Clown Line in front of it, or I can put, you know, just a Class 67 and have that running down, because obviously it fits the area really well. And finally, not really some new additions, but a couple of locos that I have got chipped up. I still have more Class 66s that aren't actually on the layout. This Fastline one is actually one of my favourites. I remember it coming down through my area once on the way to Sheerness on the scrap train when it used to run. Swiftly replaced by DRS in the Class 37s, but it was good to see it in this area. And I've re-chipped the Class 20, and that is up and running as well. So it'll be, you might see some new additions in the next running session. I'm going to try and get all the track cleaned and everything soon so I can release one. And again, I apologise as always, but videos will be coming a lot slower due to work commitments and stuff like that. So there we go then, that is the August update. Once again, I will try and get all the track cleaned and stuff like that, and get a video out for you guys of a small running session, especially around the station area. Now there's some actual scenery going about, so I can get some station movements. I need to get both of my units chipped up. I've got a Class 466 from Hornby, I need to get that converted, and I also need to chip up my Hornby Javelin as well, my Class 395. Once I've got them done, you can finally see some passenger services on the layout. It's been all freight from the get-go, to be honest. So once I get them chipped up, we can see a nice little bit of variety. One thing I would like to ask, what do you guys recommend in terms of controllers and DCC, you know, DCC controllers and stuff like that? Because I am currently using the Bachmann Dynamis, but me being the person that I am, I actually have too many locos for the Dynamis now. So I was just wondering if there was a better upgrade that I could use that any of you recommend to store more locos, and actually that is reliable for the price that you pay. So if you could let me know in the comments, and that would be much appreciated. And always, if you do have any other, you know, questions, queries, anything you'd like to see in future videos, I'm actually gonna, from September, I'm actually gonna start, you know, doing what I want to do and put out videos, you know, like how-tos and stuff like that, because you guys have been so supportive of all the videos and stuff. We're nearly at, I think we've just hit 1,400 subscribers, which is ridiculous. I never thought I would get this, you know, this to that sort of number of subscribers or whatever. So it's time for me to start giving back. So if you guys ever want, you know, any how-to videos or any videos focusing on some certain areas, you know, in a running session, or me talking through how I done things in that area, then obviously let me know as well, and I will endeavour to, or I will try to get them uploaded for you guys. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Yeah, and I will catch you guys hopefully in the September update or the running session.